Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, off of Love Can't Wait, which you can get on Amazon.com. And I know you've seen a lot of talk shows, a lot of women within the mainstream media. They get on these talk shows and they're whining and complaining about how they can't find a man. They can't keep a man. They've done everything and nothing seems to work. And now they're on the Steve Harvey show and he's giving them advice, trying to see what's going on. You know, why a guy's intimidated around me. Why they don't want to be in a long-term relationship with me. What's wrong with me? Is it me or is it them? Or maybe why I can't meet quality guys in my city or in my town or wherever she lives. And the reality is, the reason why she's single, never been married, 35 years of age, no kids, is because she ain't shit. That's the real reason. Because she's doing something to run these guys away at the age of 35, 40, 45, 50. If you've never been married, never been in a long-term relationship. Now, if you don't want a long-term relationship, if you don't want anything to do with a guy, that's cool in the game. But if you're actually a woman, 35, 40, never had a long-term relationship, no kids, never been married, you have problems with guys. You know you have a problem with guys. As far as you can't even get a guy, you can barely get a date. You can't even get a guy to spend time around you outside of having sex. It's your fault as a woman. Because you get what you are, you don't get what you want. And a lot of these women that talk on these shows, the reality is they really don't want an established guy. The guy that they really want a guy that they can control. They want a guy that, you know, they can pull around, tell them what to do, you know. And I mean, a lot of these women play a lot of games. You know, they're not honest. And that's part of the problem. They lie to themselves, which is the worst person to lie to. And they think that everything is going to work out and be okay. And when everything crashes and burns, they automatically want to blame somebody else. But the problem is, in most cases, is nobody around to blame. So they quite naturally, after a while, have to think that it's something wrong with them. But by the time that happens, they're late 30s, 40s, sometimes 50s. And a lot of these women will meet guys they usually don't go for the established guy, because the established guy is going to tell them, hey, if you want to fuck with me, this is how it is. I got shit going on. I'm building. I'm trying to do something with my life. Or maybe he's already established. Maybe he has a hectic week, hectic day. Maybe he doesn't have a lot of time to bullshit around, because she likes a guy that's around all the time. You know, she likes to see the guy every other day. You know, she likes for the guy to come over and spend the night. Now, an established guy or a confident guy or a guy that's building that's responsible for his friends and family and his parents, he doesn't have a lot of time like that. But a guy that's not established, that doesn't have confidence, he'll be there all the time at her beck and call because he doesn't really have much going on. And she'll suck him in because 9 times out of 10, she's going to throw the pussy on him all the time and suck him in. And he'll be just excited. It'll be a fascinating experience for him. But what he doesn't realize, like most guys, just as I did at one point, if you meet a woman, and if she's throwing the pussy on you all the time, within the first 90 days, every time you see her, y'all going at it. There's a reason why she's doing that. That's she's trying to suck you in. She's trying to get you sprung because she wants to control you. Now, most guys will be there'll be so much excitement to them. They'll be thinking, oh man, she must like me. She's making me feel good. She's making me feel like the man that I always known I was. So they'll be like, hey man, she must be like me. She might do like you, but it's not, she ain't doing that shit just for GP. It's the intent that's behind the action. But a lot of us, we get caught up in her beauty and how attractive she is, and how much she's dropping it like it's hot in the bedroom. We'll be, we'll get caught off guard. And if you're in the early 20s, I'm gonna say it's not uncommon to get caught off guard, especially if you're from a small town and she's from a big city, or maybe she's been living in the big city for a long time, or maybe she was raised that way. Her mother might have taught her these tricks and these antics. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a guy coming from a small town and you maybe you were raised conservative just as I was, you don't know. Women where I'm from, when I grew up, women didn't look like where I'm from. Women don't look like they look in Charlotte, Atlanta, LA, Miami. Don't get me wrong, women are attractive, but there's different levels of attractiveness. There's different levels to the game. So a lot of guys get caught up, and by the time the guy really catches on and figures out that she's been manipulating him the whole time, that's when the shit hits the fan and everything crumbles. And hopefully you don't get her pregnant, and hopefully y'all don't really be so deep in the relationship and you start buying shit together. And that's why I made a video earlier, a couple days ago, about the urban women versus the women that live in the small towns. There's a difference. There's a different mentality. The women that live in the small towns it's a different way of living, different way of thinking, different way of being. Women that live in the big cities, there's no rules. There's no rules. Anything goes. These women don't really care about family. A lot of them don't clean, can't cook. They're just eye candy. For the most part, they're just eye candy. You see, if you're on the internet a lot, or maybe a little, you see a lot of these women on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat. You see a lot of them on television, because a lot of these athletes, they have wives. See, these are the women that I'm talking about. most of these women are not from small towns. Most of these women are from the inner cities of America. They're from the big cities. And a lot of these women they flock to the big cities because the word has gotten around that if you go to the big cities, that's where the big fish is at. And then when these women go to these big cities like Chicago, New York, Houston, Miami, LA, they're looking for the cream of the crop. They're looking for the big fish. They're playing for big steaks. So that's a completely different way of thinking. Just like women that come over here from other countries, from some place like Brazil, Mexico, from the islands, or from South Africa. When they come over here, when they get visas, however they get them, or some might be illegal as well, who knows? But they're here, and when they get here, they're playing for big stakes. They flock to the big cities. They don't go to small towns. The only way they'll go to a small town, if it's, they have a job, or maybe they fucked around and got up with a guy that's in the military or something like that. But for the most part, the most exotic, beautiful women flock to the big cities. That's pretty common, pretty standard in America. And it's worldwide, really. I mean, you go to any country and go to the biggest cities in that country, they have a lot of beautiful women there. And most of them are from smaller towns. And then you have some women that's from there. But they're there. There's a reason why they're there. They're not there by chance. They're not there by accident, because they're looking for a higher standard of life. They want to live the modern lifestyle, whatever that is to them. And that's why they come to the cities, because women have a clock. So they figured, hey, I got to go to the city while I still look the way I look, because most of them know that that's all they got. They don't have a lot of intelligence. They might have a lot of street smarts. They don't have a lot of intelligence. Maybe they went to college, but just because you go to college, that don't mean you're intelligent. I mean, you're just book smart. I mean, you're just educated. So, a lot of these women, they're looking for a guy that they can control and manipulate. They're not necessarily looking for a guy that's already established, unless they're looking to trap him. But that's usually a short-term deal. Now, the long-term deal is usually a guy that they can manipulate, a guy that they can control, so they can have dick on command, along with the other perks and benefits. And if shit was to hit the fan and crumble with the guy that's long term, she'll just take him to court and get child support and whatever else she can get out of the deal. House, cars, whatever. But an established guy, that's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for her to manipulate him, because he doesn't have a lot of time like the guy that's not that established, that's not that confident in himself. That's going to be a challenge. So in most cases, that the established guy might be a big fish, but it's going to be harder to catch. And if you know anything about a lot of these big cities, and the mentality is everything's fast. Fast women, fast cars, everything is fast. And the women and the people adapt to the environment, and they have that same mentality. So the reality is, Whenever you see these women on these talk shows talking about what type of guy that they want, they're lying. They really don't want those type of guys, because you have to look at their intent along with their actions and their behavior. It is what it is. I mean, the math doesn't lie. The logic doesn't lie. You know, I've heard, I think Jay-Z or somebody said, men lie and women lie, but numbers don't. That's true. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. And don't forget to like and share this message with somebody that you care about. So until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.